Welcome to the meditation Q&A. Happy Saturday. I'm excited today to be able to share with you some answers to commonly asked questions, and feel free to, in the comments, ask whatever question that you have about meditation. I've been meditating for the past 30 years, and I have learned quite a bit about the myths that I was disillusioned by, and a lot of others are disillusioned by as well, and how to make it more effective and more enjoyable. And the effectiveness and enjoyability comes from, in my experience, it comes from letting go of the myths around meditation. So feel free to, if you have a question, just put it in the comments. I may not get to it right away. If people comment at the same time, I'll just go in whatever order I see them. So the first one is, does a particular position make the meditation more effective? And, this really depends on your intention for the meditation. If your intention is to simply relax and get clarity, the position doesn't really matter. You can meditate lying down, you can meditate standing up, sitting in your car, standing on your head, doing a split. You can meditate while you are wrestling in a wrestling match. Really, you can. I've never done it before, but I can imagine that would work based on, what I have experienced with meditation. You can meditate effectively in any situation, and the method that you use will have more effectiveness than the position that you're sitting in. That brings me to another question that I get asked a lot. A lot of people want to know what style of meditation I use, and they want to know what styles are most effective. That is very similar. The answer to that is very similar to the first question about your posture. There's no one style. And to be honest, I don't really care about styles. A lot of people get really proud and really into the specific styles of meditation. And it really doesn't matter. In essence, meditation is a quieting of the mind, becoming centered, and tuning into the innermost part of yourself. So if there's a particular style that works for you, then do that. And it doesn't matter what the name is. It doesn't matter who came up with it. It doesn't matter when it originated or where it originated. Doesn't matter. If it works for you, then do it. And always be exploring. If there's something that interests you, then go for it. But don't feel like you have to be on the search for the best style of meditation, because there isn't one. They're all pretty good. The next question that I get a lot is how to calm a busy mind. If you're somebody who is highly creative and highly intelligent, then your mind probably goes 50 miles an hour. If that's the case, then it might be really hard for you to sit still or lay still and focus on nothing or really anything. So a couple of things. Number one, it does help to give yourself permission to focus on something. It tends to be easier to focus on one thing than to focus on nothing at all. And that's, again, one of those myths. One of the myths that a lot of people talking about is that with meditation, you can't have any thoughts. If you're thinking a thought, then you're not meditating. And that's just not true. And it's not really helpful, because that's not realistic for 99% of humans. So don't worry about the whole thinking thing. I find that it's better with anything to do something and have it not be perfect, because there is no perfection. to have it not be exact than to not do it at all. So it's helpful to focus on one thing. And what I have found for myself, and a lot of my clients and students agree with this, is that it's helpful to focus on a phrase, a word, or a breath. And so, something you can do if you have a really busy mind, and it's great to bring the body into that, especially if you have a lot of kinetic energy, a lot of energy in your body, is to inhale and say a part of the phrase and exhale and say another part of the phrase. So, for example, one of the phrases, I was just thinking about this today, so we'll use this one, is everything I need is right here, right now. So as I inhale, everything I need is right here, right now on the exhale. So inhale, everything I need. Exhale is right here, right now. And try doing that for 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes. Another thing is just breathing. And it's helpful to count while you're breathing. So inhale, exhale, and then that's 1, 2, 3, and so on. And see how far you can count. See how far you can count without any thoughts, and you're just focusing on your breath. That's a really good way to train your mind to clear all thoughts from your mind. That brings me to another question that I get asked a lot, and that is, how should you breathe when you're meditating? A lot of people say that you should always exhale out of your mouth like this. And there are reasons for that. There are benefits for that. A lot of people say to inhale through your nose and exhale through your nose. And when you do that, you can allow your tongue to rest on the roof of your mouth just behind your teeth. There's a special connection point, a special energy point there, that when you allow your tongue to rest on that point, you can actually have an increased energy flow. So that's interesting to try out. You can try that now. So just notice, how did that feel? There's no one right way or a wrong way to do this. I always encourage people to test things out and see what results they get for them, because you know what, you're probably going to need different styles and different methods for different situations. So it's really nice just to have a handful of things in your back pocket to use. Whatever breathing style you choose, it's always best, in my opinion, to breathe with your stomach. So get your breath and your energy out of your chest, out of your shoulders, and bring it down into your stomach. So on your inhale, your stomach fully expands. On your exhale, your stomach contracts. And something that I like to do as a breathing exercise, and what this does is it exercises my lungs and my breathing rhythm, and it's a meditative practice. So I actually like to put a decent size rock of any kind, something that you just find outside, maybe about this big, and I put it on my solar plexus, just above my belly button, below my ribs, and it puts like a weight on my stomach. And as I'm breathing, I love to push that rock up with my stomach. And what that does is it really encourages me to breathe through my stomach. And it also encourages me to take really deep breaths. It's something that I discovered by accident, and it has been really powerful. I would encourage you to give that a try. Let's see. So the next question is, what if you have anxiety and you can't relax. A lot of people have way too much anxiety to be able to relax, and then they feel like they can't meditate. I was like this, even though I've been meditating since I was 8 years old. Um, there were a lot of chunks within that time period that I struggled with it a lot because I just had so much anxiety all the time. I could never get myself to relax enough. And then I would start criticizing myself because I'd feel like I'm not doing this right. I'm not, what's the point of doing it because I can't do it? It's silly stuff like that. So, um, the kind of meditation that I do is very unique in that it utilizes energy to facilitate the meditation. And I just started doing this about 7 years ago. So it's not, when I was really struggling with meditation, I didn't know about this and I wasn't doing it this way. And so traditional, conventional meditation styles are more like a mental practice. And it's more about training the mind. It's more about quieting and calming the mind. But with the energy, and I call them energetic adjustments, what that does is it brings energy into your body and it balances the energy in your body. It increases the energy flow. And through that process, it actually relaxes your body, it relaxes your mind. And so if you're somebody who has a lot of anxiety and you feel like you can't meditate, then the energetic adjustments are going to have a natural calming effect so that you can get into a meditative state. A lot of my clients have said to me that they hated meditation when they first started my program. And within just a couple of weeks, maybe not even, they found a way. They figured out how to relax. And when you do these energetic adjustments consistently, it trains you how to relax. It teaches your body what it's like to be relaxed, and it teaches you how to access that relaxed, calm state on demand whenever you want. I've had people tell me that they were in the middle of panic attack, and utilizing this technique, they were able to stop the panic attack in their tracks. You can do this with migraines. You can do it with body pain. A lot of people with fibromyalgia benefit from this quite a bit. So this is a different type of meditation that is particularly beneficial for people with anxiety and who can't relax enough to be able to get into a meditation. Now, that being said, if you do want to meditate and you have a lot of anxiety, then I would start out with like 1 minute at a time. Just, take 5 breaths, 7 breaths, and that's your meditation. Especially when you're focusing on just the breath and you're doing that like inhale and counting as you're breathing, or with the mantra or the phrase. So start out with tiny, tiny baby steps and allow yourself to build from there. And eventually you'll find yourself craving more and craving more time in it. When I first started doing the energetic adjustments, I started out with 20 minutes at a time, and that felt like an eternity. It felt so long. And before I knew it, I was doing 2 hours. 2 hours. So I went from 20 minutes to 2 hours. And man, the stuff that happens after the 45-minute mark, 30 or 45-minute mark in any kind of meditation. Now, it's particularly amplified with the energetic adjustments because you're bringing your whole body, you're bringing all of your energy into it. You actually, what I have found in my experience going from conventional meditation to the energetic adjustments is that in 20 minutes, 5 minutes of an energetic adjustment is like 20 minutes of a meditation. So 45 minutes of an energetic adjustment is like 2 hours of meditation. You're just able to access different levels of consciousness when you bring the energy into it. Um, so, but to go back to the question, starting out really small or doing these energetic adjustments is really going to help if you can't relax. Now, the next question is, what if, does it work to meditate for just 5 minutes? Do you get any benefit from that? Well, of course, it's going to work. You're going to get benefit from it because you're slowing down and you're becoming present. Anytime you stop and become present and get mindful, observe, you're going to get new insights, new ideas. You're going to see things differently. You're going to prevent yourself from overreacting or from making silly decisions. So that's always a good thing. Now, when I first got really into meditation as an adult, I was meditating about an hour a day, and I had a lot of anxiety. And the anxiety would go away throughout the meditation. And it would stay dissipated for the next like half an hour to an hour. But once that like relaxation wore off, I was back to the high stress state that I was before. And the reason that I experienced that was because the meditation, like I said, typical meditation is more of a mental practice. And you're not getting to the root of why you were so stressed in the first place. And for most people, the root is not just because they weren't relaxing. The root is not because you have a busy mind. The busy mind is a symptom of something much deeper. And so with the energetic adjustments, you get to that root. Every time you do an energetic adjustment, you're working on the root level of whatever it is you're working on. And so 5 minutes of meditation will be effective to help you to relax, but it's not going to be effective to help you to release any root of what you're having the challenge with. An energetic adjustment, however, 5 minutes of that, and you can change your whole state. You can release resistance, release fears, even adjust your beliefs in that moment. Whatever beliefs are holding you back in that moment, and you can do that in 5 minutes, and that's really effective. So that's one of the beautiful things about the energetic adjustments is that, yes, the normal, like what's recommended is 20 minutes for a session, but just 5 minutes and you can change the whole outcome of your day, which is really fun. And the last question that I have here is, what if I fall asleep during the meditation? Is that going to be still effective, or what do I do about that? So when you fall asleep during a meditation, it's not all that effective for the purpose of the meditation. And if you find yourself falling asleep every time, then what I would do is just find a different time of day to do your meditation, like first thing in the morning or maybe mid-morning, but not when you're exhausted. If you try to meditate when you're exhausted, you're just going to pass out and you're not going to get the benefits most likely that you intended on. Now with energetic adjustments, once you initiate that process, it's self-guiding. It's an intelligent process. So even if you fall asleep, it's still going to continue that process while you're sleeping. And what's really interesting is a lot of people will fall asleep. It's like the spirit is intentionally making you fall asleep during the energetic adjustment so that you can get to deeper levels of the process, because sometimes the conscious mind just gets in the way and it prevents you from going to the depth that you need to for that particular transformation. And so it will cause you to fall asleep and work more on a deeper subconscious level. So those are all the questions that I have for today. Let me just see if I might be missing somebody's comment here. If you have any questions about my questions, about the commonly asked questions that I talked about, or if you have any comments, feel free to just post them in the comments there, and I'll be able to get back to you and elaborate more or answer the question. And if you want to go deeper on any of this, just let me know and I'm happy to chat with you privately. So I hope this was helpful for you, and let me know what your biggest takeaway was. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll talk soon.